Hi guys, my name is Shayda Campbell and this is an 11th apartment video. In today's tutorial, we're going to do a fun watercolor and pen illustration. I think you'll really love this technique for bullet journaling and creating greeting cards. So let's get started. So to begin, I'm just going to show you what we're going to be doing today. I have this grouping illustration. The topic is garden herbs, and I've drawn out all the herbs that are in the garden right now. And I love doing these grouping illustrations because I think they're a fun way to practice your own illustrative style. And any artist, whether they're a professional or a novice, will tell you that one of the best things you can do for yourself is to practice drawing a little bit every day. And what this will do is, of course, you'll develop your skill, but even more important than that, you're going to build and understand your own illustrative style, because it's not about getting it right. You know, if you need a really exact picture of basil, you can go out in your garden with your phone and just snap away. But when you're illustrating, it's about, showing how you feel about the object and representing that object in your own unique way, and you're going to develop your voice as an artist. So pick a topic, and if you're just starting out, you're just a beginner, I would suggest picking a very specific topic. Get real specific, like peaches. And then you're just going to draw peaches, and you're going to think about the design and how they sit on the page. If you're a little more comfortable, pick a broader topic, something like garden herbs, or you could do back to school supplies. You guys have seen this one, My Creatures of the Seashore. I drew this to I just have sort of a representation of all the stuff that we see out on our beach here in Atlantic Canada every morning. So that was really fun. I also did, this is from last week's video. We've just got a grouping illustration of flowers. And that's a good one if you're starting out. Just try drawing flowers and you'll really start to see what your style looks like with something that's simple. So let's put that to the side there. And I'll show you what supplies we're going to be using. You'll need a little bit of watercolor paper, and you'll want to have your design. I've done something here really simple, just strawberries. And here's another good example. You can see here, by doing one thing, by doing a very narrow topic, you are going to consider more how things are placed. So instead of worrying about how to draw things or how things look, are they exactly right? Don't worry about that. Just worry about presenting it in your own unique way. And then, of course, you're thinking about how do they look on the page? Where should I place a large one? Where should a small one sit? How can I make this holistic design that's pleasing to the eye? Where should I place some leaves? In addition to strawberries and their leaves, what else could I draw in there for visual interest? So I've done some strawberry blossoms, but you could do, strawberry jam, or you could do just the seeds, or you could do a strawberry cut in half. So you're really thinking about the design elements when you're just sort of zeroing in and illustrating this one thing. And where we're going to start today is you've got your design traced onto tracing paper. You've got watercolor paper. We'll be using our usual Mona Lisa graphite transfer paper in order to transfer the design. Have a little bit of washi tape on hand, some sort of artist pen. I like a Sharpie pen or a Staedtler Triplus fine liner. Then you'll also want to have some watercolor pencil crayons. These are just really easy to use, and they're a lot of fun to work with. And then you'll want some clean water and a couple small synthetic paintbrushes. And it never hurts to have a cup of tea. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tape this design in place and take a moment to make sure you get it right. But these designs, I think for anyone out there who's doing bullet journaling, I just love that. I love seeing the photos you post on Instagram. And if you're doing a bullet journal, you could be illustrating all the clothes that you want to buy for your fall wardrobe, or you could illustrate the flowers that are in your garden this summer. It's really about documenting your own life. And I know if I had a bullet journal, I'd probably be illustrating the jams and the foods that I'm canning, and then recording how many batches I got. There's just so much you can do. All right, so I'm putting my transfer paper there dark side down, and then I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to just lightly trace every single line in order to transfer my design. Okay, so let's take that out and we'll lift this up. Great, and you should be able to see that pretty well. The design looks great. And now I've got this design transferred. This is so simple, you guys. I'm just going to color it in a little bit with these watercolor pencil crayons. You couldn't ask for something easier. And then we're going to add the water, which really brings these colors to life. And when I'm coloring with these pencil crayons, what I think about the most is where's my light source coming from. So I'm going to have the light source sort of coming from the right hand side. So the right hand side of each fruit will have a little highlight, or will get a little bit lighter. And I don't want to add too much color. Too much color is the killer. You'll just find that once you add the water, I think, to this medium, that it goes a lot farther, and you still want you want to be able to see the page underneath. You want some negative space, so that will just give you a sort of a more artful finished product, I think, if you sort of ease up. Don't color it in as if it's, you know, a coloring book. You can see, as I'm doing here, I'm just not going too hard. I'm not going right to the edge of the lines. I can do that when I move the color around with my paintbrush and with water a little later. And you can also mix these colors just like regular pencil crayons or like regular watercolor paints. The colors are easily mixed and played around with. So to do these strawberries, I've got a sort of an orange or a warm red, a cool cherry red, and then a little bit of pink, like a magenta pink as well, which is going to look really good. And that'll just give me some variety here in my color. And to do these leaves, I'm mixing a little bit of light green with a darker evergreen. And no matter what medium you're working in, mixing your own colors is always going to give you sort of a more sophisticated and artful result. Okay, so we've got all the color on the page. I think transferring the design and adding the color probably took like under 10 minutes. We're talking 5 to 10 minutes. You've already mixed all your color. You've got your color on the page. So this is great for the beginner or the novice. And now you're just going to move it around and think about sort of where that color is going. All you need is your clean water and a little paintbrush and something to blot with. And you're just going to get the pencil crayon wet. And you can see you don't want too much water, and you're just going to move that medium or that paint around so it sort of becomes paint as you add the water. And you just need to think about where you want the most color, where you want it to be dark. You've already done that a little bit in your shading. It is so simple. You're not adding a ton of water. That's why this is great. For doing sort of quick journal illustrations, although I do still recommend using watercolor paper and then adding these illustrations to your journal by either taping or stapling them in. And as I always say, just be careful to leave negative space. It's so important to still see that page and to not sort of have this thick, overworked, heavy color. Just keep it real simple and light. It's actually the less work you do, the better. Okay, so that's all done. It came together really well. And the next thing we're gonna do once this is super duper bone dry is we're gonna add that artist pen. A nice black outline will really bring this drawing to life. Okay, so I've taken about, I would say, half an hour and I've let this dry. At this point, our project is almost complete, and I find this to be the most fun part because, as I said, it really, adding this black line or this artist pen really brings this whole project to life. And it should be quite fun and easy to do because you already know your lines. You've already done this illustration and you've traced it, and you don't have to follow the lines exactly. But it's important to sort of keep in mind that you will be able to see those the initial transfer lines. So think about that, but you don't have to stay right on the first or the initial lines. So I'm kind of adding some more white space by not sticking with them exactly. Yeah, I think this line, adding this black line really just helps to elevate the whole project. And I guess you could say it's sort of a lot of bang for your buck. This is a really simple technique to just lay down that watercolor pencil crayon. And even if you did use watercolor, it's not like it's a lot more difficult or anything like that. But when you are using the pencil, it's just so easy to do. And then adding this line in later really gives you this really professional, sophisticated look, almost like something you'd see in an illustrated children's book or something like that. And there we go. I'm just finishing this up with a few little details. And that's about it. I think I'll finish this with a border, or I might write strawberries across the bottom or something. It depends what you're going to use the project for, but for me, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching today. If you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week with a new video.